Okay, and we are live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with this evening's live stream. It is 7:40 p.m. It is the 27th of June, and today we'll look at some stories that have caught my attention, as we always do. Check out what's happening in the news here today in Spain, and we'll also take a look at some comments that have been left on the channel recently by viewers. Now, we'll go straight into the news, and don't forget, in the second half of the video, live chat time. We'll see what's happening there, and we will see what people are talking about in that live chat section. Now, straight into the news, and the first problem related to Spain's job vacancy issue. We can see here that Spain has 148,000 unfilled jobs, and it's up 44% since the pandemic. Spain has seen a significant increase in unfilled jobs in recent years. This mismatch in the labour market has led to an increase in the number of vacancies of 148,000 unfilled jobs, up 44% compared to 2019. This figure is 2.3 times higher than the data recorded in 2013, when there were around 63,000 vacancies. Despite the significant problem of unfilled positions, Spain has one of the lowest vacancy rates on the European continent. A vacancy is defined as a job that is either newly created, unfilled, or about to become vacant, and for which the employer is taking active steps to find a suitable candidate outside the company. So there we go, the job vacancy problem, not only in Spain, European continent as well, other European countries with a similar problem, and 148,000 unfilled jobs, 44% increase since the pandemic. So not easy for employers to find people to fill those jobs here, and always surprising considering that there is a 12.7%, or it might even be down below 12% now. I'll correct my words there, 11.7% unemployment rate. So unemployed people are about, but employers are finding it hard to fill certain jobs, obviously because of the skills required and the qualifications needed for those jobs, I imagine. Second piece of news here, in chaos at the Barajas airport. We are in the trains like sardines, someone is quoted as saying. Images shared by travellers at Barajas T4 terminal show the chaos being experienced this morning at the Madrid airport. Hundreds of people crowded at the security checkpoints, unable to access boarding gates. According to a witness, they have been waiting for around 2 hours. According to the account of one of those affected, before reaching the gates, the passengers were packed like sardines on the trains. In response to complaints from a user on the social network X, AENA has confirmed the mobility problems at the Madrid airport. We are sorry for the inconvenience caused. Trains are running less frequently than usual, and the service has been reinforced with buses. The airport is working to solve the problem as soon as possible. Greetings, they replied. And the images coming from Barajas, here we can see a very, very busy terminal there, Terminal 4, people waiting to go away on holidays, I imagine. And apparently, from what I've heard, there have been similar scenes at different airports around the country, as per usual when the summer months hit. Short staff, there are not enough people on the security gates, and it does take a long time to get through airports like Barajas, let's be honest. If you go to a small airport in Spain, for example, I remember going to Vigo airport last year, you get through no problems at all, there's nobody there. But when you come to an airport like Madrid Barajas, which is enormous, it does take a long time to get through those security controls. And if there are problems with transport getting to the airport, or the airport around the surroundings of the airport collapsed, which does sometimes happen as well with traffic, not easy to get your flight on time, of course. Next piece of news here, and if you thought Catalonia was the only part of the country that wanted to separate from Spain, well, one autonomous community wants to divide itself, and Leon, the Leon Provincial Council, approves a motion to demand autonomy for the Leon region. The Provisional Council of Lyon on Wednesday approved a motion to demand the creation of an autonomous region of its own that includes the provinces of Lyon, Zamora and Salamanca. The proposal was presented by Unión del Pueblo Leonés and supported by the 10 deputies of the PSOE. The PP party and Vox voted against. The UPL had promised to bring the proposal to the Lyonese chamber in the first half of 2024. The doubt was what would be the position of the 10 socialist deputies, as some had shown themselves to be against this claim to cease to be part of Castilla y León and form a new autonomy. In principle, the proposal does not have the support of the regional and federal leaderships of the PSOE, which have demanded more attention for the province of León, but respecting the current community of Castilla y León. So there we go, another group of people that want to separate from the current system. Not separate from Spain, of course. They're not going as far as the Catalonian separatists or the Basque separatists in the past. They just want to separate from Castilla, apparently. So the autonomous community is known as Castilla y León. They want to separate, so Castilla will be one autonomous community, and then León on the other, which will be comprised, if they get their way, of León, Zamora, and Salamanca, as we saw there. So interesting times. And if you go to some parts of León, even inside León, a place called the Bierzo, which is part of the Castilla-León area, Bierzo also wants to separate from that current political situation. So lots of people not happy with the way the country is set up. And the final piece of news here, and a woman has been arrested for sabotage at the prestigious Cepa 21 winery. Agents of the Guardia Civil have arrested a woman, a resident of the municipality of Rioja de Duero in Burgos, as the alleged perpetrator of the sabotage of the Cepa 21 winery of the D.O. Ribera del Duero, Denominación de Origen, located in the town of Castrillo de Duero, Valladolid, last February, where some 60,000 litres of premium wine was spilt, resulting in losses of 2.5 million euros. The investigation is still open and further arrests are not ruled out, as confirmed by the subdelegate of the government in Valladolid, Jacinto Canales. The detainee is currently being interrogated. Early on Thursday, a large group of agents surrounded the home of the woman, accused of opening 3 tanks inside the installations in the early hours of Sunday, the 18th of February. The sabotage caused many unknowns in the investigation, as the images from the security cameras showed the figure of a woman who knew the bodega very well. The event had an international media impact. And I remember this story at the time, not sure if I mentioned it on the channel, but finally this woman has been caught for basically letting 60,000 litres of premium wine go down the drains, and she should be locked up and the key thrown away for such a terrible crime, the loss of so much premium wine from the Cepa 21 winery there in, where was it? In Valladolid. There we go. So an absolute shame that so much wine was lost, and not really sure why the woman did this. Nobody seems to know yet, but she knew the winery well. So she'd obviously visited the winery on numerous occasions, or maybe a former employee, not sure, but obviously taking out her revenge, a vendetta against that winery, and 2.5 million in losses. So I can imagine that the Cepa 21 wine in the next few years, the price is going to go up. So thank you very much for that. And as I said, in the jail, throw away the key, and that should be the punishment for such a shocking crime. First comment here from Dude Lebowski. As a surfer who used to visit Bilbao, spelling area there, Bilbao, in the late 90s with north wind blowing, you could smell that city long before seeing it. Yes, dude, that was probably the case back in the day when Bilbao was an industrial city and the big furnaces were burning and the smoke churning out of the chimneys in that city, but it is not the case anymore. Bilbao has been transformed completely into one of the most attractive cities in the country, in my opinion. Stay tuned for another video on Bilbao coming out shortly, and it's a magnificent city in every sense of the word, as other people in the comment section will also point out in a minute. But yes, in the past that was not the case. Industrial city and very, very dirty. In fact, I spoke to a taxi driver once when I was in Bilbao, and he told me that he used to take the taxi out in the morning, clean, and by the time he came home from lunch, it was covered in soot. That's how dirty the city was back in the day, but not anymore. One here from Joe. I have to say, you see much more rubbish thrown on the roadside and verges in Spain than in the UK. Spanish folk are not very environmentally aware, in that person's humble opinion. Also, dog poo, it's everywhere. It's rarely picked up. Some re-education is needed. That is, big fines. Yeah, you can get the impression that we are living in a dirty place. Some places are dirtier than others. Again, I'll go back to the city of Bilbao. Didn't see any rubbish on the streets there for whatever reason. But here where I live on the outskirts of Madrid, it's just like a rubbish dump. A lot of the times you've got paper flying around all over the place. The bins sometimes get too full and the rubbish is all over the footpath. And of course, animals come in, cats and other types of animals come in and destroy the rubbish, so it can get dirty. The local council does a good job of cleaning up the local bin areas. They try their best, but some of the things that get left behind, you wouldn't believe. And when it comes to the old dog POO, here it's as if people didn't know how to use plastic bags, or they think that their dogs, they just do their business in the wild, and it's somebody else's responsibility to either pick it up or just leave it there rotting in the hot weather. And every day I go out and there's always some fresh ones lying around. So people either repeat offenders or people just don't care. And it's coming from a dog owner who spends, I'd say, quite a lot of money every month on these little plastic bags that I have to buy to pick up my dog's waste. One here from Jim. Regarding the housing and Airbnb situation, why don't these municipalities or maybe even the national government look at all the ways they could significantly incentivise both new housing development as well as rebuilding and repurposing existing housing that remains unused or empty? It seems there's a lack of imagination amongst those in charge, and they're clearly taking a swipe at low-hanging fruit that might backfire on them. Keep up the good work, Jim in Pozuelo, Madrid. Yeah, Jim, thanks. And I think you've hit the nail on the head here. A lack of imagination, or maybe the situation is just too complicated for the average politician to cut through all of the red tape to get these ideas up and running. I know the state government has had some plans to develop social housing. I know that local councils often try to develop social housing for people in need, especially if they've got housing issues, people living in bad conditions, which is the case where I live here. There is the place called the Cañada Real, and quite often the local government takes people out of the Cañada and puts them in the social housing if it is available. So there are those issues around the country as well, and different gypsy camps that people living quite rough, and they obviously get access when they can to social housing. But for the rest of the population, it's not easy to get, I don't think, basically because there's not enough being built. And the other issue of empty homes around the country, also a problem that belong to banks, and they belong to these investment funds, and sometimes full of squatters. So that's also an issue. We've got squatters in the street where I live here. The house is an absolute pigsty, but people just don't care. Dirty mattresses thrown outside, not put at the rubbish containers. Filthy mattresses, I should say, just left lying around in a park because they don't want them anymore. And that's what we're dealing with. But housing's a problem, but perhaps, as Jim points out here, lack of imagination, too complicated, who knows. Joe Strummer, not getting this zero VAT thing. What is 2 to 5% savings when food products have risen 30+%? Okay, it is something, but not enough for me to return and millions like me back to the pre-pandemic life. Yeah, Joe, good point there, especially when it comes to olive oil. We saw that there is going to be a 5% reduction in the price of olive oil. But remember that the price of olive oil has gone up 300% over the last 3 years or something like that. So what's 5% going to do realistically? A bottle of olive oil that costs €10 currently, 5% discount, do the maths. It's not going to bring it down very far, and I don't think that a lot of people are still going to be able to afford olive oil. with a 5% decrease. When it gets down to the €3.20, €3.30, €3.50 mark that it was a few years ago, people will start buying that product again, no doubt. And I imagine a lot of people will stock up when it gets to that price, worried about future increases. But you're right, yeah, when food products have gone up 30% plus and you're getting only a 2 to 5% saving, yeah, not very much. But the government would argue that it's better than nothing. But yeah, not really much help, especially when it comes to oil. One here from Pete. Some of my Spanish friends said that it's someone's job to pick it up. Rubbish, that is. I was gobsmacked, and what's really scary is that they were serious. Yeah, Pete, that is true. I have heard similar words here from the locals. It's somebody else's responsibility to pick up the rubbish. I'm not saying that the people I was with were throwing rubbish around, but the excuse was that, yeah, well, people are paid to pick it up, so let them do their job. Let's give them something to do, right? You don't want to have them sitting around all day. I'll empty my cigarette ashtray out here and somebody will come around and pick it up. Obviously, that's an extreme case, but it does happen. And other rubbish as well. One of the big problems that I see is with these outdoor seating areas that people come and, sit down, have something to eat. They have these little flimsy serviettes, these little flimsy paper, whatever you want to call them. Serviettes, probably not even an adequate word. Everybody who's in Spain knows what I'm talking about. At bars and restaurants, very thin pieces of paper that don't really clean your mouth very well, and they just get discarded and they end up, in a field somewhere, creating rubbish issues for somebody else. So that's one of the big problems that I see, and just general rubbish lying around that, has an origin. Somebody's put it there, and it's an issue, and somebody else's responsibility to pick it up. One here from Patricia. I love Bilbao. I was so impressed. What they have done to turn the heavily industrialized port into a fabulous cultural spot is only understood by going there. I did see it many years ago when the rebuilding was in process, and you could see what the architects and developers had to deal with. The Guggenheim has done a lot to raise the profile, but the city as a whole is great. I stayed above the city in a Casa Rural with fabulous views. No Airbnb, thank you. Yeah, again, Patricia, a fan of Bilbao, as I am. The post-industrial city, cultural spot. Great city for food and drink as well. An amazing food and drink culture in Bilbao. Really easy to access as well. Walk into a bar, choose what you want. Some fantastic pinchos on the counter. Wash it down with a cold beer or a nice glass of wine from the Basque Rioja area, if that makes sense, in the north of the Rioja region in Álava, I think. And very, very good food and drink, and a great city, as Patricia points out. And you have to see it to believe it. One here from Nid. Promenades and coastal areas damaged by storms need repair for Spanish tourist economy and leisure for locals. Suggesting you leave storm-damaged areas unrepaired after megastorms like Gloria is absurd and ignorant. Thank you very much, Nid, for your point of view. But remember that the coastal construction here in Spain a lot of it was done prior to the coastal laws, which nowadays would no longer allow that type of thing to build so close to the coast, because they've realised that we've got a problem, because every time a storm comes through, a lot of the infrastructure gets destroyed. So instead of trying to bring it back a little bit, allow the natural environment to do what it does, maybe create sand dunes and the like, people prefer to have a nice promenade so they can stroll down it in the summer months and fulfill their leisure needs, but at great cost to the taxpayer, who, as I said, have to fork out the money to build these things continuously when they get destroyed, sometimes on a yearly basis. So I don't know whether it's such an absurd or ignorant idea, as you say there, because the storms are coming through thick and fast. Gloria, of course, was a megastorm, but there are others that have destroyed the infrastructure all along the Mediterranean coast. And one politician put the idea out there, why don't we try and do something different with the coast? And, of course, he lost his job because, like Ned, you want a nice area where you can take your paseo por la tarde in the summer months. And don't worry about what happens the rest of the year. But hey, you're entitled to your opinion, of course. Now, into the chat section I'm going to go. Before I do, I'm going to change the backdrop. This one sent through from Isabella, who's currently in Spain with Gino. Now, I had to crop this photo because it was the wrong size for the screen. But we can get the idea of a nice coastal shot. Not sure where it is. A couple of nice beers. Shame that it's Estrella Damm. So we might be in Catalonia. I'm not sure. The hat, the glasses, the sunnies, and the little aperitivo, which looks to be a nice nut mix. So thank you very much, Isabella, for sending that photo through. And if you've got a similar picture that you would like to see on the backdrop, maybe one that you have taken or your partner has taken, spainspeaks@gmail.com is the email address. Feel free to send them through, as other people have done in recent times. So Isabella, great photography here, and just showing the type of views that you can get on these nice summer days on the Mediterranean here in Spain, and enjoy a nice cold Estrella Damm. Estrella Damm. From Catalonia, of course. The beer, not my favourite, but if it's the only one that they've got on tap, I'm not going to complain, of course. spainspeaks@gmail.com, and here I've got those two gigantic beers on either side. Now, also, I'm going to put the like icon on the screen. There we go. If you haven't hit the like icon yet, please do so. Currently at 58, so just below the video you'll find it. Do us a favour, hit the like icon. People that have supported the channel in recent times, super thanks, buying me a coffee, Patreon, longer term supporters, and also the channel members here on this YouTube channel. Thank you very much for the support. It is appreciated greatly. Now, into the chat section I'm going to go. Let's see what's going on. Let me scroll up to the top and see what's going on here in the chat section. First person I can see is Pamela, coming in from San Juan de los Terreros. Regular viewer is Pamela. Anthony coming in from Fairfield, California, joining the live stream this evening. Barbara coming in from the Playa Flamenca, 27 degrees down there. Erica also in the chat, coming in from a muggy terraza. Rain or no rain is the question. The big mystery. Hope everyone is doing fine and enjoying the weather more than Erica is. Crossing her fingers for winter to come back. To get some rain, obviously. To get some rain. Sani coming in from Basingstoke, hoping we are well. Thanks, Sani. Good to see you. High flyer John, flying back to Almeria on Saturday morning, early Saturday morning, for a short break. No DIY this time. Best regards to old John. So John coming back to enjoy some time, not having to get the hammer and the screws and all of those things, the nails and the screwdriver and all of those things to do those renovation works. Renan coming in from LA. Johnny coming in from San Diego, where it's 22 degrees at 10:30 a.m. Jose Antonio saying hello. Rained in Ciudad Real. No one predicted it. Good for the melons. There we go. Rain is good for your melons if you grow them. Regina coming in from Estonia. We have an Estonian viewer today. Very hot there, 28 degrees. Unusual in Estonia. Waiting for the vlog and having a good time. Thanks, Regina, for joining us this evening. Good to see you. Gigi coming in from the Camino Portugues coastal route. Tomorrow in Santiago and the sun is out. Enjoy. Have some pulpo, Gigi, if you can eat pulpo. Have a plate for me. Richard coming in from the North Yorkshire region. Had a kerfuffle on Monday. 4 protesters broke into Mr. Sunak's grounds and defecated in his lake. His house is 2 miles from ours. Yeah, probably not the most popular guy going around in the UK, Mr. Sunak. Old Rishi. Or I think his name is Rishi or Richie or something. And living there in Yorkshire. Never really noticed the Yorkshire accent on Mr. Sunak, going to be honest, Richard. But, yeah, people not happy and doing the business in his lake. So he obviously spent a little bit of time having to fish those out. Doubt he would do it himself. Probably has help to fish those polywaffles out of the lake. Janet coming in. I read it was fake, according to Janet. That's what Janet read. Might have been fake. Could have been just the chocolate bar, as I just said. That's what they thought, but one guy got arrested. Yeah. So, Mr. Sunak. But it is a worry when people start to get onto your property and do these things. Your privacy, of course, is compromised. Janet saying hello from Oxford. Marianne coming in from San Diego as well. What else we got going on here? Jose Antonio improving his English. Just found the meaning of the word muggy. Dave, Madrid correspondent, currently coming in from the Salamanca neighbourhood. Weather there today was cloudy, hot, dry and dusty, but did enjoy a nice menu, did Dave. Good to see you, Dave. You're getting back into that Madrid lifestyle of the old menu del dia. Siestas at 3 o'clock, getting up late in the morning. Don't know, but enjoy. It's only going to get hotter. Paul Gerard coming in, 30 degrees from Germany. Not nice. Too hot there. Warren coming in from San Antonio, Texas. Grant coming in from Seattle. What else? Barajas means decks of cards, the Vegas way. It's a bet. Sometimes it works so fine. There we go. It's all about luck at the airports. No wait when coming through Madrid 3 weeks ago. It is all about luck, Dave. That is true. Sometimes you get a good day. Sometimes you get a bad day, of course. Flutter Girl coming in from Toronto. Madrid airport is beautiful, but highly problematic in terms of long lines and cramped spaces. I once thought I'd miss my connection. There we go. It is a spectacular airport to look at from the outside and also the inside as well. The new terminal, that is. But it does have its issues just because of the sheer amount of people there. Madrid, of course, a big city that obviously with a lot of flights coming through here, a lot of international flights and local ones as well. The Green Toro Verde coming in from Esperia, California. It's the name of a hotel brand here, Esperia. Probably a place as well, don't know. What else we got going on here? What else? What a waste, says Dave, all that wine. Absolutely a waste, Dave. 60,000 litres down the drain. And like I said, a serious crime in my opinion. 2.5 million, of course, and a huge loss for that company. Huge loss. Eric is saying Leon was never happy to join Castilla Leon. Leon was always proud of its historical background. I remember when they renamed Castilla la Vieja at the time I was living in Palencia. That is true, Erica, yes. Castilla la Nueva, Castilla la Vieja, and then Castilla Leon, Castilla la Mancha, what they're called now. And of course, people are unhappy with those changes and trying to separate. So maybe Spain will get an 18th autonomous community, that of the Leon area. Don't know. But anything's possible. Sean the Prawn, sunny Dublin coming in from, I'd like to take my family to Spain in August, but I don't want the Benidorm experience. Where would you think is a good destination in Spain that is near the sea? Well, if you want to come in August, Sean the Prawn, and you don't want to go to Benidorm, you could go to, I'd suggest maybe going to a place called Cádiz or maybe Huelva. You won't get a British experience down there or a Benidorm experience, that's for sure. You can go to the north of Spain. Santander is a nice city that time of the year. The water's a lot colder, of course, for swimming, but I'm sure coming from Dublin, you won't mind. And the weather's great in the month of August up there as well, anywhere in the north of Spain. Or, as I said, maybe go to some of those areas like Huelva and Cádiz that are mainly full of locals. What else we got going on here? Snarly Kitty, good evening from Valencia. 34 degrees there on Saturday is the forecast. Hope there is a good breeze or the air conditioning will have to be turned on. Absolutely, Snarly, that is hot. Carol made the live stream. Valued members, there is Carol. I've made it for the first time in a while. Good to see you. Anyone know why she dumped the wine, asked John. No, I don't think anybody knows. She obviously had a vendetta against that winery for some reason. Maybe got a bad cork in one of the bottles and was peeved. But I don't think... I think she might have been probably an ex-employee. Probably. I don't know. But she knew her way around the winery according to the security footage. She knew what she was doing and she knew where she had to go to do it. YouTube is coming in from Hot Turkey. Martin, buenos dias. Stu, say hello to the wife Sylvia, who has now started listening. Hello, Sylvia. Good to see you. Good to see that you've joined. Thanks, Martin, for that. To get around Madrid when I'm here, I'll just take one of those cars from Ziddy, Weeble, Free to Move, what's that one? Ecoche, Share Now, or Cultra. If you have the app, you can find the car. There's always one around. Absolutely, Grant. That's the best way to get around Madrid nowadays, if you don't mind putting up with the traffic, of course, with one of those car share systems that are all over the city. The ones that you mentioned, absolutely. Erica, the fine in Terrassa for getting a dog's visiting card is $6,000, but never seen a police officer fining a dog owner. Not enough police walking in the neighbourhoods. Yeah, that's the issue, right? Saw somebody flying a drone the other day as well, which is also illegal to do. There's a big sign saying you can't fly your drone. A person was flying his drone, and I thought, people just don't care. Do whatever they want. No police. Who cares? And if the police come, I'll just talk my way out of it. Stephen, hola. Seem to have caught the lungy, been coughing for the last week, getting better. Yeah, allergy, sorry. Cough for the last week. A lot of people, myself included, been a bit under the weather the last few weeks, but slowly making a comeback. Carol suggesting that Sean the Prawn visit or have a look at El Campello, just north of Alicante. There we go. It's another option if you want to go to Alicante, of course. And in Alicante, there's lots of different towns, coastal villages, that are a lot different to Benidorm, let's be honest. And even Benidorm, Sean the Prawn, has a side which is not as brash, not as loud, let's say. If you want to go to the side of Benidorm where the Spanish hang out, as opposed to the Rincon de Loix or whatever it's called there. What else we got going on here? Scott, meanwhile in Folkestone, UK, is building a new high-end condos right on the beach. There we go. What else? Let's have a look. Flyaway serviettes, sugar sachets, they just fly off the table and no one runs. Of course not, because people are not going to get up from their coffee to chase the serviette or the sugar sachet. No, just flies off the table and away it goes, ends up somewhere else. And it happens, I imagine, with the amount of people that sit at these outdoor areas, there's literally thousands flying around at any given moment. JG, any recommendations of what to visit in Santander, Vigo, north of Spain? How is the weather in summer, north versus south? Well, the weather's a lot cooler, I'm going to say. The weather in the north of Spain in the month of August is generally good. You can wake up to a little bit cloudy conditions in the morning, but then it tends to clear out in the afternoon, depending on where you are, of course. Santander, maybe you're going to get around 26, 28 degrees. You might get a couple of hot days there as well. Vigo, crowded city. Beach is not that easy to access from the city. Santander, easy to access. My experience, of course. And Bilbao doesn't really have any beaches. There's just a river running through, or some type of river running through there. A ria, they call it. And the beaches, you have to take a bus or a car to get to the beaches. So Cantabria, Santander, those villages around there, quite nice. Asturias has a lot of places on the coast as well. And the weather's just it's a lot cooler. You can sleep at night. And that's what people like, rather than sweating and waking up with wet sheets, which is what happens sometimes in the south. One proposal, says Diego, is to prevent dog owners not picking up the stuff was to run an ADN. Yeah, again, DNA, yeah, too complicated, Diego. I mean, who's going to go around looking at the DNA of dog poop? I mean, it sounds like an idea that would work if you had the means to do it. And let's be honest, I don't see somebody at a lab analysing the dog poop and trying to associate it with an owner. But that's just where I live. Maybe in some other areas it could work. I don't know. Fiona coming in from a windy Scotland. What else we got going on here? We've just got a super sticker from Outdoor Chilled. Thank you very much. €5. Thank you very much for that, Outdoor Chilled. Greatly appreciated. And another one from Carol, another super sticker. 5 as well. Greatly appreciated, guys, your contributions to the channel. Sean the Prawn saying thanks a million. Yeah, personally, Sean, I check out the north of Spain. But if you want that more Mediterranean vibe, the warm sea and all that, anywhere in Alicante, plenty of places around Alicante city as well that you could go to. So Valencia, Castellón as well, Murcia, you could go. Plenty of places. Now that's the end of the, one more here, from Ellie. Greetings from Pasadena, California. That's the end of the live stream today, going for 34 minutes. Going to start to wrap it up. Hope you all have a fantastic start to the weekend tomorrow. Back again with more regular content. Well, I should put some content out tomorrow. I should also put some content out on Saturday, but not guaranteed yet. And back with another live stream on Sunday evening. So hope to see you then. Hasta luego. Hasta entonces. Adios. Bye-bye.